Hello there, and welcome to another album review of The Shield Dude in the Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the new album by Conan, and it's called Evidence of Immortality. So, for those of you that don't know the band, they're a UK based band that play Doom Sludge, uh, and they've been around since 2014, and this is their fifth album. So, they're a band that they are very respected in their field. I've always heard good things about Conan, even though it's not a band that I listen to all the time. And on this fifth album, I can say that this is an epic album, epic sludge doomy record. The six songs, they all work well together. I don't think there's any filler on this album. So if you like that type of sound, I think you will dig this. So I want to talk a little bit more about the album and what I think it's the highlights of it. I think something that they did very well in this album is that they experimented, especially in the first track and the last track of the album. Something that this album does very well is pacing. This album is all about the pacing. Sludge Doom usually is kind of slow. It plots. It takes its time. And on this album, Conan plays it to a T. It's an album that they don't rush things. They take their time exploring a riff, and sometimes uh, you may think that a song is over, but it's not. So the album, with six tracks, it's not a concept album per se. Conan liked to talk a lot of themes about fantasies themes in their music, but there's not a concept to the album per se. So the album starts with a cleave head no longer plots, which is a great song title and a great album opener. And they open the album with a song that's 10 and a half minutes, and that's a bold statement. When you album with a long song, it really lets you know that the band is not afraid to take chances. This song starts really slow, and it starts with some distortion, and then you get that doom sludgy riffing throughout the whole song. It doesn't have a whole lot of like variation in sound. It's a song that stays like in a similar tone throughout 10 minutes, but it's not boring. And I think it prepares you for what the album has in store for the listener. The second song, which was the lead single that they released, Leviathan Hoax, it's the opposite. It's a song that starts faster from the get go, so it grabs the listener's attention. It has some great riffing, some great drums. It starts fast, but then it kind of gets slower a little bit, and you get more of those distorted doom riffing. The singing on it, it's you hear it, and it's harsh, but it's not super harsh, so you can understand John Davis when he's singing, and I think that's very important to understand a singer. Then the album has the shortest song on the album is Ritual of Anonymity, and that's like a 3.5 minute song, so it's the shortest song on the album, and it's the fastest song on the album. Not like thrash metal fast, but for this type of music, it's faster. And it's very entertaining song that goes well into the next two songs, which are an 8.5 minutes each. It's Equilibrium of Mankind and Righteous Alliance. And Equilibrium of Mankind, has some great riffing on it too, and it takes its time. But there's a part in the song where like the riff, you think the song is over, but the riff begins again after like a few seconds of space. And you're like, oh, the song, it keeps going. And that's something that they do. Sometimes you think that a song is going to end, but they pull a 180, and no, the song keeps going, and they're not afraid to like stick with a riff and let it play out. Righteous Alliance is a little bit faster, and it goes from faster to slower. More great riffing on it. This album has a lot of great guitar riffs on it that really go well with the aesthetics of the album. And it's a great song, and I can see why they chose this as a second single, because it's one of the more also more faster Evenet songs. And then the album, they take a huge chance and close the album with a instrumental called Grief Sequence. And Grief Sequence is a song that has synths, and I think I thought I heard an organ in there, but I'm not sure. And it's a song that really is slow and cinematic. When I was listening to this song, I could imagine like watching like a sci-fi apocalyptic movie and that song playing on the background. And it's a 14.5 minute song, so it takes a lot of like balls to finish an album with an instrumental, and not also an instrumental, an almost 15-minute epic instrumental. And the song, it keeps building. You hear that synth and that sci-fi feel, like it keeps the song keeps building, and it keeps getting like higher. And at the 10-minute mark, that music goes like super high, and it's like the crescendo of the song. And then it gets more psychedelic, more spacey, and finally it ends. But I think it's a very interesting album closer, and it goes with the themes of the album. This is a very bleak record. It's called Evidence of Immortality, and the album cover, if you look at it, it's pretty like out there, with the impaled sentinel. So at the end of the day, I think this is a great doom sludge record that is not afraid to take its time, and I think the pacing on it works well. If you like this type of music, you will enjoy it. If you prefer faster type of music, maybe this album wouldn't be for you. So, what did you think of Conan and Evidence of Immortality? Did you like it? You didn't like the album? Comment. What were your favorite tracks? And also, if you content that I'm putting out, don't forget to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I have more content on the way. So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude in the Couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you, and good night.